Karis here, and today we are going to be diving through the two decks that I'm working with exclusively in March. The decks we're going to be taking a look at are the Modern Hue Tarot, which is a watercolor reworking of the Rider-Waite-Smith, and the Awakened Soul Oracle deck. I will flip around the camera and we can get started.
Okay, so first up we have the Modern Hue Tarot. And I picked this deck up from Ritual, and I actually use their digital planner for my daily draws. I do a 3-a-day draw, and I use their Ritual planner. I also have I bought their Ritual digital stamps. Because of that, I tend to see their advertisements, and when I saw this, I just was blown away. I really love the watercolor aesthetic and just the way that they have redone the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. We are a few days in the month, so I have already started using this, but I put it back in order so that we could do a proper walkthrough. So let's go ahead and get started. So first up, we have the Fool. Because this is a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, I'm not going to have too much to say about the new takes on the deck, because the artwork is basically the same, just with a different coloration. But I will say I love how the titles are on the bottom and just this gold working around the borders. And just overall, I love how the artwork looks. I think some of these you can tell there are some details that are really drawn out because of the way that they've colored the art. And some of it is really blended in because of the way they've colored the art. Just overall, I think it's a very beautiful deck. It's a little bit rougher, I would say, the artwork, than some of the other decks some of the other versions of this deck that we would see. The lines are a lot more, I would say, washed out, free flowing. And I know, part of that is just the way that watercolor works, but I think it's really interesting. But they've definitely kept a lot of the, main details. I do appreciate that we see different astrological signs throughout the cards. See here where Temperance usually has one foot in the water and one foot on the land, you don't really get that kind of effect because either she's all in the water or this is all dirt. Differentiate there's no differentiation between what her feet are standing on. See even here how the signs are kind of put into the different pieces of art. I really like that. I like this star card a lot. I will say this guy looks a little weird. He looks a little weird in the face. But there are a little bit less details than what we're used to in a standard Rider-Waite. If I would have thought, I could have compared these against a traditional Rider-Waite, but I didn't. I love this Ace of Cups. It's so beautiful. Again, there's not a lot of deviation from a traditional Rider-Waite, especially in the suits. But it is really interesting to see how the coloring impacts the artwork, because it definitely does, in my opinion. One thing I'll tell you right away is I'm going to have the same issue I did with the last deck, in the fact that this cardstock is awful. It's awful. Very slippery. I guess it's not in the same way, but it's very slippery. There's a lot of, like, if you put your cards down, all of a sudden they're like this. It's very annoying, in my opinion. I mean, the artwork is breathtaking, which, I mean, I had the same conclusion last month. And to be honest, I don't actually own any other Rider-Waite-Smith decks. I can't think of the name of the one that I have that's kind of similar. It's the a new look. I can't think of the name of the deck, but it's in a mini. And it's kind of, it shows a different version. I think it's a new vision. So it shows a different position. So it'd be like, instead of how you see the King of Swords face on, you would see from the back facing out. And it's all right. It's not one of my favorite decks. Oh, I also have the Morgan Greer in a tin. Um, Not a super big fan of that deck either. I definitely like this so far more than I like that deck. Oh, see, these cards just slip and slide everywhere. I'm not one for really brash, bold colors, and that deck is very intense. But this is definitely a better option for me, for a Rider-Waite-Smith, traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. There it is. That is the flip through. I can show you how it shuffles. It shuffles great. These are the backs. Great shuffle. The main problem is that when you sit it, oh, it's not going to do it now. The main problem is when you sit it down, it does a lot of slipping and sliding, which is kind of annoying. It's got a slight sheen. Like, that part of the cardstock doesn't bother me at all. It's not super high gloss or anything. It's just when you sit it down and it starts sliding everywhere. I find that to be incredibly annoying when cards do that. But overall, very pretty deck, and I'm very excited to work with it in depth this month. And next up, we have the Awakened Soul Oracle deck. So this was created by Ethany, and I've had this deck for a while. I think I did an in-depth walkthrough on my channel. If so, I'll link it below. There's a nice chunky guidebook. Each card, while not in color, each card has 2 pages dedicated to it. And this is a 50 card oracle deck, and it is independently published. It's gilded, silver gilded edges. They're a pretty fairly large sized card. I love the artwork on them. Zoom out a little bit. They're really great keywords. So let's go ahead and flip through the cards. Action, adventure. I think the artwork on these is really great. Women and cis women. Authenticity. I love this card. I love the butterflies and that they're, kind of like the rainbow. Boundaries. Oh boy, is that a challenging card for some of us. Challenge. I love that there's a big range of diversity in this deck. Change. The snake is in the midst of shedding their skin here. Cleanse. Compassion. I think that's supposed to be Jane Goodall. Connection. The colors that she used, like the color palette in these cards, are so beautiful. Desire. So she did a black and white card. Who's the artist on this? Danielle Mulligan. So she did a black and white card, and then she just has fire kind of wrapping around them. Devotion. This is such a good take on devotion because sometimes when we think of devotion, we only think of a partner or something like that. And this is showing that devotion can be to anything. It can be to a passion that you have, it could be to your job, it could be to your family, it could be to your partner. But there's all these different ways to think about devotion. Dream. Family. Oh, I love this card. I love it. It's one of my favorites in the deck. Forgiveness. I love this because I love the idea that, like, forgiveness is letting something go free. It isn't necessarily forgiving someone to allow them space back in to hurt you again. Forgiveness is letting go what we harbor inside of us. Fun. I like this. Super colorful. Gaia. This is the same image that's used on the front of the backs in the guidebook. Oh, I forgot to mention these are the backs. They are bees. Ethany is very into bees. Gift. Cute little mermaid crown. Gratitude. Grounding. Guidance. I love that it's someone at their tarot deck asking questions. The sun, the moon, and the star. Healing. Judgment. I love this card too. Skinny body, not so skinny body. Knowledge. Labyrinth. Leadership. I'll put these over here. Magic. Beautiful. Mantra. Meditate. I also love this card. Mirror. Perseverance. It's the badger. Perspective. Rebirth. I like that this is a bat. Like she's coming out of the cave, which is symbolic of the womb. Release. I also like this because I like their hand is open and the bird has stayed, but they are not holding the bird captive there. Rescue. Sanctuary. I love this card. It's so pretty. Sensuality. Shadow. Shapeshifter. Silence. Simplicity. Solitude. Sovereignty. And I love that she has these strong goddesses in the background here. So we have Athena, Artemis, and Hestia. That's awesome. Virgin goddesses. Goddesses claimed by no man. Surrender. Treasure. Trust. Oh, I like that a lot. Truth. Unplug. Vision. She's got her third eye open there. And wisdom. What's really cool about this deck, if you look in the guidebook, is that we're following this character, which doesn't appear to look the same in every card, but she is the awakened soul. And we're following this awakened soul throughout her journey in this deck. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull a card and read out of the guidebook. I'm also going to show you how this shuffles. So I have larger hands, so I don't really have a problem shuffling it. But I think if you had smaller hands, you probably would struggle with this deck. The cardstock is super good quality. I really love it. Great for hand over hand shuffling. Let's just pull a card and read what the guidebook says. So, sovereignty. I really like this card. Symbol, the virgin goddesses. Keywords, authority, power, royalty, and jurisdiction. Our awakened soul stands in awe of the three virgin goddesses of ancient Greek mythology. Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategy, Artemis, goddess of the moon and the hunt, and Hestia, goddess of home and hearth. She can see herself in each of these powerful, divine feminine ones. Through connecting to their energy, she is inspired to claim her own life and power. These goddesses weren't all about chastity. They claimed the word virgin as being a woman to whom no man or God could own. They made their own choices, and they had the power over their own lives. It has been a long journey for our awakened soul to come to the place of owning who she is and her place in the world. She's had to define her purpose and has often left the comfort and security of the known to seek out her path. Today, as she stands in this temple, she knows it has all been worth it as she undergoes an initiation of self. Awakened meaning. The sovereignty card has arrived as a sign from the divine within you to own your power, and if you've been giving it away, to take it back. You may have given your power away by allowing other people to make decisions for you, seeking approval over being happy and not having clear boundaries. These goddesses are a reminder that no one but you has the right to say anything about your life and the choices that you do and don't make. They are yours and no one else's. Give yourself permission to be yourself. You are being reminded that through spiritual work and self-love, you can claim your power every day for yourself. Regardless of your gender identity, race, or spiritual path, you are divine. Even if you're a part of an organized religion or spiritual group, you still have the right to choose what's right for you. Check with your inner compass whether you're aligned to love. Sovereignty is taking responsibility for your actions in life, as you are the one who has the power. The shadow meaning, giving away your power, seeking approval, unwilling to take responsibility or decide, untapped potential. Affirmation, I claim my sacred power now. Personal reflection, how can you reclaim or reconfirm your personal power? And I just want to show you what these cards look like next to each other. Just their colors and how well the art kind of goes together. Definitely really like the way that they pair. These sort of complement each other. One is a little bit more muted, the other's a little bit more vibrant, but they seem to really flow together.
And those were our tarot and oracle decks that I'm working exclusively with in the month of March. If you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your love and support. See you in the next video. Blessed be.